New OGs. New OGs is a State and Madison Entertainment production, and it's brought to you by Solar Masters. Look, Illinois is changing how people get their electricity, and Solar Masters is helping homeowners in Illinois take advantage of a program that lets them get solar power at no cost. If you're a single-family homeowner in the state of Illinois, you can lower your electric bill, you can raise the value of your home, and you can do something good for the environment without paying a single dollar out of your pocket to do so. In fact, Solar Masters can only work with you if they can save you money. Solar Masters is a Black-owned company and a SunPower dealer, an American panel maker with over 30 years of solar experience. They even have a referral program that pays out as much as $500 per referral. So head over to www.gosolarmasters.com and get in contact for a free consultation. Yes, sir.
Bobby!
Yeah.
I almost missed you. I got lost in the screen.
We've been high for a minute here. We've been working to get on the air, and it's given us a lot more time to smoke than usual. So I understand how that may have held you up a little bit there, X. What's going on?
I just want to make sure that what you said, I heard what you said to the people. I want to make sure I get it right.
Yeah.
You say people can lower their electric bill every month.
They can lower their electric bill.
They can do something to help the environment.
Yep, they can also do something to help the environment.
And if they have a friend that they refer that also does it, they get $500?
Yeah, if they have a friend they refer, they can get $500. Also, like, even if they don't have a house and they just know somebody who owns a house, if they refer that person, they get $500. You don't even have to own a home. You can refer somebody, you can get $500. It's crazy.
Man, that's better than when white people go to jail, because that'll never happen.
Okay.
You'll never see that. So that's better than that.
Yeah, I would say this is probably better than that. So if you want, they've actually expanded to Florida as well. So if you're in Illinois or in Florida and you're looking to find out what Solar Masters can do for you, go to www.gosolarmasters.com. Get in contact for a free consultation. Order for somebody that you know. We are also brought to you by People of Comedy. That's a network that we are on right now. Get over to People of Comedy on Facebook. Check out all the great shows offered there. Check in daily. They've got new, fresh podcasts you can watch and listen to wherever you listen to pods. What is going on, everybody? How are we doing? It's Friday. It is it's a weird week. It's a week that we get. It's like there's this weird thing now where I feel like Donald Trump is on the outside of a locked door with the glass window, and he's just like, hey, because like he's there, right? Like in the subtle background of everything that's going on is Donald Trump, right? Like there's like CPAC kicks off this week, and we're going to talk about that, and Biden's actions of the last week, and everybody's like, well, of course the comparison is, how is this compared to the guy who was just here, right? So that's been a big thing, and suddenly there's like a lot of talk about what's going to happen in 2024 from the right and how that's working, because they're a group that seems to be somewhat divided. And it seems like this dude is hanging out in his taxes did get picked up this week, which is a thing we'll talk about too. So it just seems like as much as he's out and is starting to we thought he was, right when we thought he was out, we've pulled him back in. You know what I mean? Like
I'm going to be excited to talk about all that stuff, because it'll be the first time when we talk about all that stuff. It's going to be the first time, I'll be honest, for at least for a couple of days, that I will have been able to focus on anything other than this one thing that has made my week, and it's probably made my whole Black History Month. And that is that Bobby Hill admitted that I was right about Southern basketball with Julius Randle. I'm getting a plaque made. I'm going to have it sent to you, because I want you to sign the thing. They're going to put it in like a bronze thing. I am so happy about this shit. I don't know what to do. Our friendship is better now.
Good. Well,
I'll just fuck with you now. I'm just messing with you.
For the friendship, baby.
I'm messing with you, but I was shocked to see that because that young hasn't been playing bad. I just thought, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, I understand that. I get into a lot of arguments with people in areas that are subjective,
Yeah.
where it's like it's very easy for us to like we could go on forever arguing about a topic, but there are some things where you can look at where it sits and go, yeah, I called that one wrong. And when the Bulls picked up Thaddeus Young instead of Julius Randle, you were really big on like talking about what Randle's stats were, and I'm like, but it was with the Knicks, you know what I'm saying? Like, and Thad Young has experience, and the Bulls need experience, and he's been good.
The guys love
Here's
him.
the thing.
Levine loves him.
He's been great. But also Julius Randle is averaging like 25 points a game in New York right now and literally like balling out in New York. And like Thad Young's been good, but he's not the bellwether. He's not the anchor guy for the Bulls necessarily when it comes to like who's going to carry them. And Rand, and I think right now the Bulls are in a place where what they really need is another big scorer to complement Levine. And they like someone who consistently is like another like 19, 20 point a game guy.
What do you think they could get for marketing and Otto Porter? Otto Porter, expiring contracts aren't as important as they used to be, but Otto Porter's expiring contract and lowering marketing.
See, the thing is like,
can we get a ham sandwich for that?
Yeah, depending on who they're trading them to. The idea of getting Otto Porter and the ability to re-sign him at a lesser rate is ideal, depending on what your team is, right? And who you can give back in return. So that's exciting for them. And depending on what your offensive style is, if that means marketing can come too, great. So
you think Otto Porter knew that he was gonna get fired when they drafted Pat Williams or not? Like, do you think he watched that draft and was like, damn? Or did he think was like, oh, I'm gonna teach young buck the game, and
well, I think the situation that's come up is just the fact that the 3, 4, and 5 positions now in the NBA are often pretty interchangeable. There's not a lot of guys who are just post up guys in the NBA anymore. Like even the big, like Joel Embiid is hitting like fall away 18 footers and shit now. He's like shooting so top of the key threes, right? Like Jokic in Denver is a do everything. He has like 15, 16 triple doubles and shit. Like these guys are. The idea of a 7-footer who will just pull up on the break and shoot a 3 sounds insane to me, right? Like, and like a 7-footer who's also 280 pounds. This is not like, these are not the small guys. This isn't Kevin Durant we're talking about. We're talking about like a guy who back in the day would have bodied up a lot. Like this is like if Patrick Ewing was just like a guy who would shoot like 3-pointers all day. That's and just cross cats over, right? Yeah.
I want to point out. Rob has been quiet the entire time we talk about basketball because his sorry ass champion Lakers are on a horrible losing streak right now. I think they're on 5 in a row.
I was thinking that you were right about Julius Randle, and I was just trying to see where would I fit in that correctness. But now you said that bullshit.
I don't rope the dragon.
Like you were right about Julius Randle. Julius Randle was the shit when he was here, and he was like 4. You know what I'm saying? And as you guys are talking, I'm trying to visualize why is what they're saying so true? Because I watch AB all day. Man, this dude is AD. I watch this dude. He's injured right now. That's why they lose.
He's another one.
But I'm saying the reason why that is so prevalent is because these guys are not stupid. Why do I have to keep getting beat up when I could get an extra point from back here? Let me just learn how to shoot from back here so that I don't have to get beat up. I can play like I'm going to shoot, then take it to the hole. Whatever it's going to do to make it easier for you, that's probably what you should be doing. So to me, I'm thinking that's just evolution. If the point of the game is me to put the ball in the hoop, then I got to get better at putting the ball in the hoop from anywhere on the floor. And that's what these young guys are doing consistently.
I'm going to throw a name out because this is a player that I always dug in, and he fucked up. Nobody fucked up his career. I think he could have been better. He had problems, but Derek Coleman, all these cats
6'9"
look like
power forward from Syracuse.
Yes. And dude was nice, but like he was kind of like I'm trying to think.
He was
he's
like
Rondo.
DeMarcus Cousins.
Like, yeah, DeMarcus Cousins or
He
Ron.
was a very DeMarcus Cousins like player.
Yeah. Like DeMarcus Cousins, before he got injured and stuff, he'd get mad. He put up 45 points and like 20 rebounds on somebody because you said some shit about him, or he thought you said some shit, you know. But then the next game, he might have single digit rebounds. and foul out or get too technical or some shit. You know,
DeMarcus Cousins don't give a fuck.
DeMarcus Cousins is a GD, man.
Dude,
he and John Wall.
I can't remember.
John Wall are straight gangsters, man.
I wish
they just play with it like, it's time.
I wish I could remember who they were playing against, but this was right before he got injured a couple times. There was a dude that a local reporter had said that the Kings should have got instead of DeMarcus Cousins. And when he came to town, DeMarcus just destroyed this nigga. It was like that Muhammad Ali when he was whipping dude and said, say my name. Say that dude kept trying to call him Cassius, so he kept fucking him up. That's what DeMarcus Cousins did to this dude. And the dude didn't say nothing. A reporter said some shit. But he was just showing off in front of the reporter like, this is your king, motherfucker.
So what I feel about the Bulls is like the issue that they've got right now is that they're finding out that the way the current NBA is structured doesn't work with Markkanen, Carter, and Porter. Those three guys don't. There's Wendell Carter is still learning how to step out. He may take 1 or 2 threes a game. Sometimes he hits one, you know what I mean? Like that's about where he is on that. And Markkanen doesn't have the physicality to play with these other 3s and 4s who are as athletic as a guy. Like he can't run with a Kent Bazemore up and down the floor. You know what I mean? Kent, you know, and not that Bazemore is terrible, but Markkanen is a number 7 pick. You know what I mean? He's a guy who, you know, he fits.
It's crazy because
when he's playing against Bertrands and those guys, he's fine. But like, you know, Huerter, when he goes up against those guys, he's fine. But there's some obvious similarities between those guys and Markkanen.
You know where he play, you know where he'd be great at.
Rob knows that similarity.
He'd be great in Golden State. Like where he wouldn't have to because Draymond and Wiseman could hang with the bigger, stronger dudes. He could take whatever the weakest big was, and all week whatever the weakest offensive big was, he could guard that person, and offensively he'd fit in great with them.
Yeah, so I think somewhere between Carter, Markkanen, and Porter, somebody's going to end up having to go, and they'll probably take a guard with them, and maybe a pick or something to get. But like that's what they need they need a scoring punch from somewhere that's somebody who can complement LaVine.
They also, I like Kobe White.
I know they're both guys who need the ball the same way.
Here's a funny thing: Kobe White's game. He looks like, you ever been out with a dude that's not used to being out with like attractive women and he gets like all excited and shit. Like he like every little thing. It's like, oh man, where are we going? What are we gonna do? Like, hey, calm down, nigga, you gonna fuck it up. Like, that's how Kobe White looks when he has the ball. He looks like so excited.
Like that dude in the club when 2 women start kissing in front of him. All of a sudden he's like,
yeah, like, hey man, chill. Like,
it's like,
play your shit together.
It's like Schrodinger's cat, man. If you look at it, it won't exist anymore. Okay, you gotta just just kind of fucking like side eye that shit, man.
And that is so true. I can't tell you how many nightclubs I was in after a show, and things started to get a little interesting. And the other dudes started like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Nigga, shut up! You fucking this up. Be quiet. You gonna make them feel guilty. Leave them alone."
It's weird when you're like, has nobody taught you this lesson? Do you not understand? How do you not? Come on, man.
One time when I was in college, I was that dude. However, the reason why I was that dude is because the dudes that the guys that I was with with the bras, they had led me to believe that they were some gorillas. So if they was some gorillas, I was like, well, let me get gorilla too. And they were not gorillas. They was doing the same shit that all the guys. Hey, baby, they were doing all the same shit. They were telling everybody else that they was out here like, straight macking talking. I just be telling these bitches what's up. They were not.
But they were baby pleasing.
Yes, they were baby pleasing with the best of them, which is cool. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But don't tell me that shit in the cafeteria. That you was,
I'll be destroying. I say what the fuck I want.
Yeah, I was like, I'm in a room full of gorillas, man. I gotta go gorilla too.
Oh,
I will be the weak motherfucker. I don't want to be the weak motherfucker in the group. But let's go gorilla.
Hey man, I swear to God, I used to be that stupid. Like I would say shit like I was that stupid for real. I was like, hey man, when I say jump, I don't want her to ask me how high. I want her to ask me when to come down. Shit, you should have been already up there. I said jump, nigga, get up there.
The fuck you asking questions for? Wait till in the air already.
I'll tell you how high once you get up there. Just the stupidest shit in the world, you know.
Hey, I don't want anybody watching the show to tell you I do not condone pimping. However, I do admire it. Because I have seen some shit that has blown my fucking mind.
Oh my goodness.
I have seen some shit that has blown my mind. Oh my God.
We learn lessons, man. You know, learn lessons as you go on. I've learned some lessons this week. I learned lessons about the stock market this week. Because it has been ass and trash, and you've
I'm getting my ass kicked.
It's one of those so I've been trying to learn about options trading, and so I've been like, okay, well, I'm gonna look at calls first. It's the easiest thing to learn are the options, right? Because you're betting that something's gonna get better, and like if you invested in the right shit, most of the shit's gonna get better. So it's the easiest one to win. And of course, the week I decided to start trying to invest in an option, the market is just like
it's trash.
Just like should have learned puts, nigga. Should have learned puts. It's just like it's because I was just like, I'm like, listen, let me see what this is. Let me see what everybody's doing over here with this shit. You know what I mean? Like
see,
these are the people that are running away with everything. Let me see how this whole thing works. And it's just like. It was just like the close, like here's the thing is there was a point where I did one as like an experiment where I want to see like what happens. So I bought one that wasn't too expensive and I watched it. And there was a point where it was like Tuesday or something. And the shit was up over what it was supposed to be. And I was like, man, it's so early in the week. Like this shit could be ridiculous. Like, and as big as it goes, like you can get a whole lot of profit. So I'm like, well, we'll see. We'll set a limit if it goes back down. And then it dipped. And I was like, God damn it. And then it kept going. And I was like, are we getting back to what the fuck I started with in this movie? And I was like, we need to pull the ripcord. We got to pull the ripcord. We just can't. I got to at least.
Everything I own is down, but everything I own is stuff I'm holding. I got a couple cannabis adjacent stocks that I think are gonna blow, and I got some electronic shit that I think is gonna blow.
I got some shit myself in cannabis, and it ain't doing nothing. That's why I'm hoping they hurry.
It was a bad week for cannabis for some reason. There was some shit in the news about it. I forgot what it was a bad week for cannabis.
There's a lot of stocks now that are tied to Bitcoin. Like there's a lot like, you know, when Tesla goes, we're going to invest 1.5 million into Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's stock tanks, that means Tesla stock tanks because they just put 1.5 billion into that motherfucker. So there's a lot of things like silver and companies that are, you know, that have shit. I think who was it? Square. I think they just invested 170 million in Bitcoin. So like, you know, their future is somewhat tied to how Bitcoin. If Bitcoin does well and they decide they want their money back out of Bitcoin, shit, man, Square's worth a shit ton of, you know, so their value is kind of tied to that. Which, you know, depending on how you play it, it can help you figure out how you want to bet your money. But
I heard somebody speaking on Bitcoin
when the crypto market drops, then you got a lot of other companies that are also going to deal with that fate.
I heard somebody speaking on Bitcoin that gave a justification for it, because you guys know I've always been kind of on Bitcoin and all cryptocurrency, but he said everybody keeps talking about like how we're going to spend it, how do you you know, because that's the part where the connect goes. That's not what we're doing. Like I don't want Bitcoin to spend. I want Bitcoin to save and invest, to save and grow. It's a savings account that's growing at a rapid rate. Like I don't plan on using that as what I'm going to purchase something. It's where I'm keeping money and then moving it. You know, that's why he was holding a fund. He was one of the funds, like you were just speaking of all the companies that were investing in Bitcoin. He had put like $1 billion into. Now I don't know if it was billion. Excuse me. It might have been like 100 million into Bitcoin.
Oh, that's all.
Well, it's a significant.
Imagine having the extra, nigga. Imagine just being like, what's this, 100 mil?
Whatever. I just spent this at the strip club. You know.
Hey, Jay-Z had 100 million. He bought $100 million worth of the Nets.
Yeah,
and I think he got like 200 back or something like that when he had to drop it.
Jesus, man.
Because that motherfucker, everything he touches is
I know. I mean,
it's insane. It's insane.
You know, as
that motherfucker might be Biff.
As a you know,
he might have the book with all the
as a man of the people. You know, it's it's one of those things you're like, yeah, I've turned $100 into $200 playing craps. Like that's but you know,
here's the crazy
gambling. There's a certain point where the level of the gambling goes up by quite a bit. You know what I mean?
Hey, here's the crazy shit. Jay-Z went from selling crack to rapping about it to a billionaire. And when he tried to talk about it on his records, like, hey, I'm gonna teach you niggas how to do this, motherfuckers got mad. How dare you? How dare you try to? What do you mean? How dare he? Motherfucker, like, please make more music, nigga. I was learning shit.
Is he one of the greatest self-made men of our generation?
I would have to say so. He's got to be up there. I mean, obviously,
it's according to how you would define self-made.
Well, let's talk about
he's completely self-made.
Western culture, civilization style that we're talking about here. So, like, you know, in the classic Americana version of like somebody who came from nothing and became very successful, like, in the American way of success, right? Like,
obviously,
maybe not in the ethereal way or whatever, but
like Bill Gates and Zuckerberg and all the what's the cat from Amazon, Bezos, all of them obviously have far exceeded what Jay-Z has done. However,
those aren't self-made men, though. Those are guys who got huge investments of money from fucking.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The crazy shit about Jay-Z is this motherfucker has just like picked shit to invest in, and it wound up always being the right shit to choose. He started a champagne company out of spite, out of anger, because the champagne that he rapped about, the dude said some stupid shit about not wanting black people to. I don't think he directly said black people, but he implied black people.
Yeah.
I didn't want that crowd. That's not who we want drinking it, whatever. We can't do anything about it. Some shit like that.
Right.
And so he just says, fuck it. He buys his own champagne brand, and that shit just got sold to the Moet Chandon Louis Vuitton house. So now that shit's going to be everywhere.
That sounds like too many foreign companies to be on the same team. Moet Chandon, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Versace. Like, okay, relax. We get it. You make fancy shit.
If you go, no, here's the crazy shit. Here's a peel the onion back on Jay-Z. They own Jay-Z, and what I mean by that is if you go to like their Wikipedia page and look at all the companies that they own, and you look at it, it looks like Jay-Z's lyrics.
Right.
It's like everything that he raps about is everything that literally in their catalog of like the watches they own, the clothing brand, the cars, everything.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Rob?
I think that I just think it's kind of relative because like yes, he is and he could be arguably what you're saying. He could arguably be that. But we also have to look at different eras of time. And people are very well connected now. But what about when Hank Aaron was playing? There was people spitting on him for playing baseball. Next thing you know, he got a bunch of car dealerships and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think it's a relative thing. I mean,
those can both be some of, you know, I'm not talking about greatest. I'm just saying, you know, one of the great self-made. I think when you
he's in our age bracket. He's like he's only a few years older than us.
But I mean, like, this isn't a guy who like he was like
He might be a few years older than you. I think he about my age.
But you know, like this guy didn't have an uncle who was like, "Oh yeah, I got a record company and I'm gonna start you off," or he wasn't. You know what I mean? Like this.
The craziest shit.
This is a project kid, man. This is a straight up fucking. This is a real, true, born in a project kid who literally just had this ability to do this thing, and like through whatever level of actual drug involvement he had, this nigga knew game. Like this guy has some of the greatest game that you will find, and he put that into a form that made it readily accessible and digestible for a generation of people that he then wove into a multi-billion-dollar organization in different fields and literally buying up versions and creating companies that were represented in the lyrics he got himself there on. Right. Yeah, and along with that has created a number of jobs and opportunities for Black people all over the world. Right. So
what he has done is what white people have been doing all the while.
And that's not even getting into Beyonce.
Paying attention to us, feeling the needs of people of color. Like everything he does has something to do with Black folk. And we just quick to run to it because we feel like we can trust it. And I'm dig. I have no judgment for that. I'm saying bravo. You understand? Like you know, it's about time we started to benefit from shit.
Well, that's the thing. It's like what did he do that's different than what we talk about trying to do? You know what I mean? Like running our own shit, owning our own shit, creating our own thing, having our own thing. Like he did exactly the type of thing that we would be doing if we were him.
Yeah, the way Rob said it felt like it was exploitive. Like no I felt like he's now it's not just that he fulfilled the need. And we're gonna get off the Jay-Z dick stroke session of the show, but I would say this: he has. It's like he saw where shit was going before everybody else did. Like Jay-Z, Biggie and Jay-Z dropped around the same time. They were the first two dudes that were talking like that. Moet Chandon, I'm a gangster that sell drugs and shit, but also I have very fancy champagne. Like Kool Moe Dee did a little bit, but Slick Rick was Slick Rick, but he was it. Slick Rick was like it. Wasn't nobody else in Slick Rick era like that, really, right? You know what I mean? Everybody else was kind of either I was cool and suave or I was a thug. There was no like kind of combination of that shit. Slick Rick was also a thug in real life. He went to jail. Yeah. But anyway, Jay-Z comes in, starts talking about Cristal. Everybody starts drinking Cristal. Jay-Z starts talking about doing certain shit. He said every time he starts talking about shit, it became the shit. Him and Puffy for a while had a touch on the culture that was insane. And what Jay has done is he's flipped it into several other brands, like I said, ahead of the game. And actually, his Hennessy is actually pretty not his Hennessy. His cognac is actually delicious.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, he's pretty transformative. I think, you know, looking back, there's some other stuff we want to get into. One of the, you know, transformative in a different way, in a different manner. There was a recent release about Malcolm X and his family with a letter that shows that the New York Police Department and FBI conspired in his murder. It was written by Raymond Wood. It was authorized for posthumous release by his cousin. So this letter basically says that exactly what people have said about the murder of Malcolm X for years, that it was a setup that the FBI was involved in, is a reality.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure that, of course, there's always this guy's dead now. So there's this open room for denial, right? Like, what are you going to get out of it now, right? Like,
so here's the thing: in a court of law, Rob, I think you might know this. In a court of law, I forgot what the exact terminology is. So everybody who knows the legal term, don't fucking shit on me for saying it wrong. But a person's dying statement is considered like put your hand on the Bible and saying the oath, because
absolutely
people figure, why would you go like, people believe in heaven and hell. Why the hell would you do that knowing you about to die? Right? So I put more weight on the fact that he's dead and he left it. Like, it was cowardly, but I understand it was cowardly, but I can't imagine somebody dying and then leaving a lie to the world.
Sure.
It's called the Deathbed Confession.
Thank you.
But here's the thing. None of it. Okay. We didn't have to wait for him to die to tell us this. It's a documentary. And it may be the same brother who wrote this book shot the documentary, but it's a documentary on Netflix right now without any doubt. There's no room for any questions, and it's called Who Killed Malcolm X? And it's like 6 episodes, and this dude goes from he has pictures of people doing shit. He has pictures of people not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And he has pictures of the murderer leaving the building. And the police not saying shit to him and giving hell to the distraction that they created in front of the building. The dude, he lays it out. So I appreciate little Mr. Deathbed, but dude, you late. We already know. There was never time we didn't. And we got to start listening to each other more.
The fortunate part of this is that the area where this was released in is the area of New York, which is covered by the Southern District of New York, which I know you guys are familiar with. That's the one with Cy Vance at the head. That is also the group that just got Trump's tax returns, which we'll talk about in a little bit. If there is any prosecution office that is about going after some shit, it is that one. They are that's the one that breaks up all the fucking racketeering shit and all the Italian crime those are the ones those are we don't give a fuck, we about some law shit people. Okay, those are about busting up some like real bad guy type shit. And so they're reviewing that case, which means that could turn into something, which is a big deal. There's been no comment from the FBI, of course. And that's, to show that the shit carries on. In 2019, Elijah McClain was murdered by police in Colorado. He was given a gigantic dose of ketamine. Here's another one that we didn't need this independent investigation to know, but an independent investigation has come out to said that the police were at fault for quick aggressive treatment, which, that's not a surprise either. It's interesting because there's always this argument when you talk about the difference between like police killing unarmed black people about what they try and fight back with black on black crime, right? They always want to argue about the fact that there's way more black people who commit crimes against other black people. Black people kill each other every weekend. Why aren't you out marching about that? And the one thing is, they do march about that shit. You just don't pay any attention to that because they march about that shit. We march about that shit all the time. You don't pay no. There's a number of groups and organizations that are all about trying to stop black on black crime. They also doesn't take into account that a gangbanger killing another gangbanger is not the same as a cop whose job is to protect and serve killing an unarmed black kid. That is not the same shit. And
most crimes committed on white people are by other white people.
Yeah, it's also by other white people. So obviously you commit crimes based on where you are.
I just watched some shit on TV a month ago, right? Of a bunch of white people attacking a whole bunch of white people. It was crazy. It was in DC. And it was on the 6th of January. It was insane. Did you see it?
Yeah, I think I watched that. But the other issue too is what
are they gonna do about those crazy white people?
The job here is for these people to actually be protecting and serving, and that is not what's happening. That's the whole I don't understand why. And so this is another one of those things where they're gonna have to reopen this situation and look at it and see if there's still some ongoing investigations around it. It would be really somebody made this comment the other day about when are we going to move from cancel culture to forgiveness culture, and I just said, well, once we get through atonement culture, once we get through making up for your fuck up culture, you know what I mean? Once you actually admit you did some shit that was fucked up and do something about trying to better that, then maybe we can talk about some okay, we forgive you, but it's not you get to do wild ass shit and then we got to be oh, it's okay. That's not.
I hate the conversation because the shit's so disingenuous. Because I've literally had this conversation with people who are what do you need? What does America have to do for you people to shut up about that shit? And I was reparations, and they're no, and I'm well, shut the fuck up.
Well, then
you can't have it both ways.
Keep arguing then.
Yeah, you can't. It's like I was like, if you told us, if you said, look, we're gonna write you all you motherfuckers a big ass check. But after we write this check, y'all gotta shut the
We
fuck
saying
up.
nigga, we doing all that shit. It's like, all right.
Y'all gotta shut the fuck up about all this like slavery shit. We done with it. All right, you niggas are ruining the ride.
It's literally a check. It's literally a check. Okay.
Everybody's saying, yeah. Everybody's trying to have fun in this motherfucker, and y'all keep bringing up this whole shit.
I want to be clear. This is not a metaphorical check. I'm for real. If you wrote an actual check, like real money, goddammit.
Yeah, no, I don't agree. I'm gonna be the nigga to say no. Feel me? I'm gonna be the nigga to say no. Fuck that. I don't. You can't just buy my fucking dignity back. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna have to
try?
Do?
You can try. You make a bigger offer. What's the number?
Cut the fees. Cut the fees.
No, Biggie.
What's the number? You ain't heard a number yet. You haven't heard a number.
Just listen to me. Just listen to me. Just give me a shot, nigga. Give me a shot. Okay. I don't want you to buy me. What I want you to do is make it easier for me to buy myself back. Do you understand what I'm saying? So rather than just give me $1 million or $5 million or whatever the fuck number you come up with, why don't you just give me one industry that my people just run it? Just we don't have to ask you, just get and put me in that industry and then give me at least a 50-year head start. And then after that, we could talk about anything else. But because this whole entire Megillah is built on people that look like me. So if I give you the opportunity to buy me back and still treat me like shit, then what have I gained? You know what I'm saying?
Shit, $5 million.
Yeah, I'm gonna say $5 million.
But
$5 million. Here's the thing.
Is that $5 million gonna be able to take care of you?
Can I fly to Canada with that shit?
I'm thinking generational wealth. I mean, I'll be cool as an individual.
If you get $5 million,
I can make that generation.
If you can't make that shit work out, that's on you, man. Like shit, they can't do everything.
If you gave me $5 million, I could figure it out.
Everybody should some motherfuckers gonna get their shit too because they stupid. But that's you gotta invest that shit hard. Like
stupid white people still make money. Stupid white people still make money because based on the head start. And that's what I'm saying. Like I want, huh?
I said, of course.
And so that's my thing. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna make it work for me and mine, but I know most of my people might not be able to because we wasn't necessarily trained on none of this shit. We wasn't necessarily taught anything. So I ain't finna set myself up to fail. If you telling me I get what I want, give me all the weed. Give me all the motherfucking weed, because I know then every nigga I know I ain't gonna never have to pay for it.
All right, now you're starting to sway me. Now you're starting to sway me.
Yeah.
I was not about $5 million, but if you gonna give me all the weed.
You buried the lead. You should open with weed. Yeah, nigga there.
All right. Well, I mean, that could also set me up for generations. If I can control the weed, if I can control, like, give me a segment of the weed industry. Yeah, I would just like can I be?
You should have led with weed.
Can I be king of the edibles? Can I be?
I would have shut the fuck up a long time ago if you had led with weed.
Well, they've made some shit. Or they're trying to make some shit better for some people. They've expanded the Equality Rights Act. They've actually opened this up to include protection for the LGBT community, transgender community, which does actually include a lot of Black people and people of color too. So that is actually a helpful thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's more protections for people who don't just fit, straight white male, we're all human beings, and as long as you are free to walk on out in the world with everybody else and be involved, and you can work and you can earn money, you should earn enough, you should be paid enough to live, and you should get to be able to vote and participate in the same shit everybody else gets to participate in. So I don't think that's a very tough one. It's one of the things that Joe Biden has actually done, besides bombing Syria. He did hold a moment of silence. We passed 500,000 COVID deaths, which of course Fox News has blamed on Joe Biden. That is Joe Biden's been president for 2 months and we hit the 500,000 deaths.
Damn it, 2 months. It's 5 months.
Man. Hey man,
Hey,
hey,
They don't even think he's president, so how could they blame him anyway? You know what I mean? They're just like,
Trump's still running for Mar-a-Lago.
yeah.
Hey man, did y'all see how they try to find a way to blame angry black people with Confederate flags? I mean, angry white people with Confederate flags and Trump signs on black people. Yeah. You see how they still trying to find a, they trying to say it was Black Lives Matter that sent all them motherfuckers. And Antifa. The other thing is this Antifa shit is ridiculous. Wait a minute. So being anti-fascist is a bad thing from you, motherfucker?
Yeah, because no, you understand. They're fascists. They are like we
Rob, we literally fought a war over this. We
say it facetiously, but they are actually fascists. We're not being facetious. It's weird because they deny it. They're fascists.
They deny it, and then like all the shit that they want is totally fascistic. It's all like it's all very
fascistic. Oh, that's
well, shit. We feel like more white people. We feel like more white people will win because no matter what we do to you motherfuckers, you just won't die. And then if we do kill all you motherfuckers off, where the money gonna come from? You know what I'm saying? We are the nigga. We are oil in the flesh.
It's a real conundrum.
So check this out, man. I was just checking out this joint, and they were talking about how the race, the portion of America that is the uber racist. White power motherfuckers, their campaign has been the same the entire time. It was always violent shit. Every time these motherfuckers don't get their way, it's always like, we gotta tear this motherfucker down. That's their only like method of doing things. So we need to hammer. I'm not saying these motherfuckers, I'm saying this because these motherfuckers hate me. I'm used to them hating me. The reason why I'm saying we need to stamp these motherfuckers down is because they hate all of you motherfuckers too. They're willing to burn all of y'all if it gets rid of me. If it takes, right. if they gotta kill all of you motherfuckers to get rid of us, they gonna do that shit. That's why we need to stamp these motherfuckers out, because that's how insane they are.
Dig this, man. For years, I thought that I was not particularly productive. You understand what I'm saying? For years, I believed that, despite everything to the contrary showing me that I was. And I say that to say this. So when I make this statement, people gonna think I'm talking racism. I'm just talking facts, okay? If y'all get the chance, you got to listen to the 1619 projects. Man, that thing is amazing. That part, every time our pain is illustrated best, it's illustrated best by a sister. Ava DuValier, man, all those things are amazing. And this is what I listened to and I heard, and I was like, they are exactly right. And you all will all agree when you hear it. Anything that we start to do in mass, like shit that we do that we never make any money for it, but we do it. Other people get inspired by seeing us do it and start doing it themselves until they get it to the point that they don't need you anymore. Mm-hmm. And the way that you know it best is they mentioned music, right? And he was like, let's listen to some yacht rock. And they was listening to this music, and it was like the Doobie Brothers and the dude from Wham and all these people. And what he was describing was the pain of blackness that somebody was smart enough and talented enough to imitate. And what I'm saying to you is this country is built on us. It's built on us. And the sooner that we learn to trade with one another, the better that everything around us will be.
Yeah, I agree. You know, it's it's a weird situation, right? We're stuck in this mode where we're fighting to try and build out of a system that is not natural to us still. And there's so many of the trappings of that system that we seem to be caught in on a regular basis that sometimes even pit us against each other, because we get, you get caught on something that you feel is definitive to you, right? I'm a strong Christian man who doesn't let my woman go. And that's like that, how much of that is African and how much of that is this Americanized culture that you're being taught, right? Like how much of my son ain't gonna be gay is American culture, and how much of that is like African? Because I don't know if that works the same way. You know what I mean? Like, and the thing is, neither do you. And so, you know, I think it's important to really see what's driving some of those things sometimes in ourselves, because I think that holds us back occasionally.
Absolutely.
We get too wrapped up in the Americanized version of who we are as people, and put the identity of who we are above what is the right thing for our kid or for our relationships or for us as people.
Absolutely. Because the question is, what amongst this is rotten and that I don't need to perpetuate myself? And what amongst this is actually foundational?
Yeah. What's helping and what isn't helping?
Absolutely.
In the meantime, you know, we're still sitting in the middle of a pandemic. We're waiting for some type of relief. The relief bill is not done. It was going to be, we're going to get you $2,000 checks real quick. And then it was $1,400 plus $600 is $2,000.
I want to say Biden always said 1,400.
And then I'm
pretty
sure
sure he always said.
There's a reason why people have always been upset about this.
It was some Twitter shit like right after the election. I think in the Georgia election, I think those two dudes said that they were going to go in and try to get $2,000 checks. That was like their pitch, because the Republicans were against it.
We can take the Biden apology tour later, but. But the thing,
not Biden apology tour.
The thing that really is getting my goat more than anything is the situation that we're stuck in the COVID relief bill with the $15 an hour minimum wage situation, in which we had to have some parliamentary person who's not elected make a decision as to whether we can include something in a bill or not. Which, like, listen, we won. Right, like, like if you're a Democrat, you're going, or if you're on the left at all, from Democrat all the way through to progressive to socialist, you won. The side that you align more with has become victorious. You have more people in the House, in the Senate, and the presidency. And $15 an hour, even though depending on how far left you go, that is either about right to not close enough. It's more than $7.25, right? Like by a lot.
Twice, more than double.
You know what I mean? Like
without
trying to be a mathematician here with an abacus, like it is a good amount more, right?
It's more than double.
And so, like, you, by winning and having all the right spots and your people going $15 an hour, that should be all there is. But because there's this stupid thing called the filibuster, you have to go to this parliamentary person to see, like, is this something that could be filibustered? Can this hold up the fucking plan? And, you know, on the plus side, they're going to take it out because they are, you know, in getting the money, you can hold some shit up or you can not hold some shit up. But at the same time, the next move needs to be to get rid of the fucking filibuster.
So, all right, I'm gonna say something, and I can't. I don't think I said it in our chat thread, our personal chat thread, but I wanted to. I knew the $15 was always a sacrificial lamb. It was never going to go through. In fact, early on, when they first got asked the question, they said that they didn't think that Biden had said he didn't think that it would go through because if they had to go through reconciliation, and then they started pushing for it, and they flipped because it must have been it's polling well, because I think it's somewhere 70% or close to 70% want $15 an hour, and
amazing how that would be the case.
Yeah,
I'm so surprised how a bunch of Americans who are working for near poverty wages.
So what I think, what I think they were trying to do was, because it's one in like every state. Matt, I did a thing the other night. It's one in multiple states, red states like Florida and Ohio, to raise that, and they haven't done it. So what I believe the Biden plan was trying to do, they knew it wouldn't make it through reconciliation. There's no way it could be part of the budget. They knew that in the beginning, but they were trying to pressure, hoping that some Republicans might flip on it because their state wanted it. And it didn't happen at all. The Republicans, called the bluff, and they got to get rid of it. But if they push through with the rest of the COVID package, I'm okay with that, because it's a better deal to make it a single ballot initiative, $15 an hour, and make those Republicans vote against it directly. Because if they vote against it directly, that's gonna fuck them up in 2022.
So, like, when you put it as a ballot initiative, this would be during an election, right?
No. I'm saying if put it as a single ballot,
like a separate law.
I didn't mean a ballot initiative, a separate law, a separate bill, its own bill.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean a ballot initiative.
Here's the problem with everything both of y'all.
I misspoke.
Okay, I get it. Here's the thing. Here's the problem with both of y'all saying is that, again, I hate to be the broken record, but the system is not designed to work for the vast majority of people, no matter their color.
Oh, I agree.
Because that's the way you got to govern through it. They know exactly what they're doing. And the people who don't want it done the way that it should be done, in all fairness, are the same people that sit on your side. Joe Manchin don't want there to be a $15 minimum wage. He don't look like none of the people who truly are fighting their hardest for it in the Progressive Caucus.
He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to even make a call on it now. At least right, because
exactly. What I'm saying to you is this. I'm saying, like, every time they don't have to have a good reason. They just have to have a reason. It just doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter what you want. It doesn't matter what you vote for. They're gonna do what they want to do.
Well, the flip of it though is okay. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I'm listening.
I was going to say the flip of it is if they do introduce it as a separate bill, it will force all of these senators to have to put a vote out in a situation in which 70% of the country wants a higher minimum wage.
Hey man. Dudes ran up in their building and smeared shit on the wall and went home. You understand what I'm saying? Dudes ran up in the building that they say is the temple to democracy, smeared shit everywhere, and then went home. The rules don't matter, baby. The rules don't matter.
Yeah, I think that's checkmate. I think that might be checkmate.
Speaking of which, they started the investigations of the officers or the lead officers involved in the 1-6 insurrection. It's a real wild thing. I live in a state with a senator who tried to push the idea that Antifa and Black Lives Matter were the people that came into the Capitol when literally Marjorie Greene's friend has video inside the Capitol. You know what I mean? Like, one of the guys they arrested is her boy. They're tagging they're tagged in each other's pictures. Like, my good friend, so in, like, not that day, but like in other pictures prior to, a man who's like, what is, unless Marjorie Greene is kicking it with Antifa.
Bobby, hashtag whiteface. It was black people and whiteface. Hashtag whiteface. We out here in flannel shirts, waving Confederate flags, screaming Trump.
Tucker Carlson had the audacity to go on TV and say he doesn't understand this whole QAnon thing. There's no QAnon website.
That's because they fucked up owning the website so much that they got kicked off the internet. Like, how bad of a white person you got to be to kicked off the internet? Like,
well, there is no Q. Like, it's being like purposefully naive.
I know.
At this point, like, you don't understand. Like, that's the same thing as even people who talk about Antifa who are like, there's no website for Antifa. Yeah, we know, we get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing with Q. Like, yes, it's a series of rumors that were developed on another blog site, basically, right? So, like, you know, it's just
put it right up the alleys of the people who are conspiracy theorists because they like, oh man, we can't let everybody see this.
But we can't let them all
hear this.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson is like a David Spade clone gone bad.
It just pisses me off to see people like Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz asking these, like, heads of the departments who were there trying to defend the Capitol, against people who came in on the support of Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz.
How did y'all not stop the shit that I started?
Right. Like, listen, I know I gave a big fist up to the people on their way in to come and attack you guys. Where the fuck were you?
That's when you as a human being.
I told them to attack the Capitol because I thought you guys had your shit together. I thought you guys were gonna shut it down. I thought you guys were gonna have it all handled. I'm as shocked as you are.
Hey man.
I thought you guys were better than this, really.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers.
I thought we were gonna see a show.
Yeah, these motherfuckers got us,
man.
These motherfuckers got us surrounded. Because when you go ask for help, you gotta ask them for help. Hey, could you send some of them people that hate me to come help me right now?
Hey man, I hate that this line did not get more joke more love on the internet. But while that shit was happening, I said it's gonna suck for the cops that put in to be off to go to the rally. That now they gotta shoot their friends that did that did get off. And because that's exactly what the fuck it was.
Oh my God, how much privilege do you got to have for you to go into the building and then don't just go in unwanted, then you take a dump. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, this is not enough. You motherfuckers need to know I was here.
Right? I can't wait. I'm so excited to see the movies that get made about this shit. Like, because they're gonna make them all, they're gonna romanticize so many of these motherfuckers. They
already have in their explanations. They already have. Like when they were in a cult. They were victims. They were the victim of Trump's lies. And
there was a guy who got arrested who said that he was there acting as a journalist and was just there filming as a journalist. And then they found the video that he had, and it was like, we made sure they learned their fucking lesson this time. It's like, that is not what a journalist says.
You don't know what that word means, which is more evidence that you're not a journalist.
That is not what a journalist.
The difference between a journalist and a cameraman, motherfucker.
All right, X. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds here to tell me why Joe Biden bombing Syria was more important than getting money out to the citizens who need the money.
I don't.
If you want to give me 30 on it, I'll let you have it.
That is the worst assist ever, nigga. Oh my God! Eat a stale, choke on a stale bagel, nigga.
Hey, X, what just happened was he threw you the alley-oop, and when you went up to get it, he knew it was gonna bounce off your face into the basket. That's what just happened. He didn't throw it to your hand, he threw it to your head. It bounced off your face into the basket. Now you got to go. Now you got to take the ball out.
Oh my God. God, I don't want that shit. They shove it up your ass. Here's the thing. Here.
It's a tough sell, right? It's a tough sell.
It's not a sell at all. But here's the thing. I want to disagree with the as if he's not doing. I dislike the narrative from people who already didn't like Joe Biden about like where the checks. But there are fucking rules, man. They don't just fucking say cut a check. There's fucking rules. They're going through the rules. They're doing the fucking process that you're supposed to do, man.
Yeah, that's the same shit you said about this whole reconciliation bullshit. That the parliamentarians said they couldn't do it. I dig this.
He said he could do 50. I promise you. I would have said that. I mean, I would have told you $15 was never gonna make it.
Dig what I'm saying. That's not my point, my brother. What I'm saying to you is, do you think Donald Trump listened to the parliamentarian? Do you think anything they wanted to do, they stopped to listen to anybody to do it?
Go ahead.
This is what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter what the rules are when they're in office. Decorum and all that other shit went out the window. So now, when you get in office, you got to be like...
Yeah, dude, here's the thing. Okay. I don't disagree with anything of what you said about when they were in office. The way we keep this shit together and the way we benefit the most, if this shit stays intact. We don't benefit if this motherfucker falls apart. We're going to be the first to get shit on. if this shit falls apart. We're not gonna rise up and be great if this shit falls apart.
I don't know. We got a lot of linebackers, nigga. We got a lot of. We got a lot.
I mean, yeah, we gonna do well in the war, nigga. But I don't really want. I was kind of hoping my kid had a cushy life, nigga. I'd not actually be in the trenches fighting for fucking America 2.0. Like, I
think that the best way to fix all this shit is to get rich. That's the best way to fix
Nigga, you turned down the check. We tried to do this shit at the top of the show.
No.
We turned down the shit at the top of the show.
I'm saying not just me getting rich, because I could have got myself rich 20 years ago. I'm saying get everybody, like I say, man, we all got money. If we all got money, I ain't got to pay for lunch. And so I'm saying, like, let's all get some money. That's the only way you're gonna ever be relevant in a capitalist society and in a capitalist democracy. Is we gotta be in the room with Nancy Pelosi sipping on whatever expensive shit they drinking and saying, look, these niggas I fuck with is all fucked up and y'all got to do something, or I'll pay you to do something. Here, let me buy you a house in the Hamptons. Now hook my people up. You dig? That's the way it's gonna have to happen.
Why were you against everybody getting $5 million?
Because $5 million is not necessarily going to be.
He was about owning weed, man. I'm down.
I'm talking about everybody. Everybody getting $5 million.
Rob wants $5 million. Rob just wants to control the weed industry and then make all the other black people work for him.
Either that, well, if working for me, if we better than working for them, I'm saying
this nigga's Edie. I mean, he just wants to he wants to run.
We can't get no fucking where.
Give me this button. Give me Portugal. Give me Portugal.
Here's the
what
thing.
I'm saying to you
Here's
is,
the thing. I'm a big fan of the weed industry idea. I'm a huge fan of that. However, I am a bigger fan of just giving everybody an opportunity to do whatever the fuck they want to. And so
no, if you're black, you have to be in weed, X. You got to be.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what. Keep it the way it is. Just keep it the way it is. Keep it the way it is, and continue to cry. That's what you do.
Everybody getting a big check. If everybody got a big check.
But what are they gonna do with it? They're gonna run and go spend it with the same people that they got it from.
Well, that's what the fuck they dumbass do with it. There's a thing called the internet, my nigga. If you get a lot of money and you don't at least try to figure out like what to do with it, you just run out and go spend all that shit. That's all you. You don't have to.
I think what you're discussing. I think what we're talking about is trying to give people the tools as well as the money. Also, so like reparations is something that requires more than just a check. It requires
absolutely. That's what I think.
Some type of educational background as to how to better create. And
I
get that the big thing is like the question is like, all right, are we still being treated as second-class citizens after that check, or are we just buying off the past and now we're going to be equal from present on? Or are we buying off the past and you still get to be an asshole to us?
Well, here's the thing: if you gave everybody, I don't know if $5 million is even a realistic number, but if you gave everybody enough money that we could like. There's a book, and I meant to. I'm sorry, I apologize, guys. I got to look it up. I didn't before. Okay, it was his brother who. He's from the South. He moved to New York. He had a career as a journalist in New York for 30 years, and he moved back to the South. And his entire book is basically imploring blacks after the Great Exodus to come back to the South, because if we come back to the South in numbers, the shit that happened in Georgia can happen in Mississippi, can happen in Alabama, can happen in Louisiana. There's a good section of the South
humid
that you could turn.
And over bug.
Can the South include LA? Shit, that's the South.
Hey.
That's the South, right? Can we?
We don't have a home in LA. Like, here's the thing: most of I
gotta live on the plantations my great granddaddy got beat to death on. That's dramatic.
Hey, no, you know what I think we should. You know what I think we should do. I think if we did take those states back, take those states over, because we could take over Mississippi. Mississippi, we're already like 42% of the state right now.
Jail.
No, I mean 42% of the state is Mississippi's black.
And in jail.
And in jail. Oh shit. Well, a bunch of us free folks Move down there and vote them
I don't
niggas
even
out.
understand how it happens, man. When you get to Mississippi,
That's the welcome. That's the welcome party for Mississippi.
They go. Are you here to play for Mississippi or Mississippi State? And you go, nah. And they go, oh, we gotta take you to jail then.
Dude, Bobby, it's so insane that you said that. The second speeding ticket I ever got in my life was driving down to Louisville, and at the time I had a Notre Dame T-shirt on. They'd won the national championship, I think, or it was a shirt from when they'd won the national championship. And obviously, I look like a football player. And so when I got out of the car, the state trooper saw the shirt and looked at me, and it was clear I was going down to college. He's like, "Are you going to play for Notre Dame, son?" And not realizing that I was in Indiana and that I was even wearing that shirt, I very proudly said, "No, University of Louisville." And as soon as I said Louisville, he looked down at his pad and goes, "The ticket's $75." It didn't hit me until he handed me that shit that I was like, if I had said Notre Dame, I would have gotten out of this fucking ticket.
They didn't have phones to look that shit up back then, too. You could have slid on that.
Yeah.
And he for sure would have just thought you were some other big black dude on TV, too. Like, I think that's what
Who knows what football players look like? It's hard to tell what football players look like now. If I dye this shit black, I still get confused with motherfuckers when I go to clubs.
I got family in Mississippi, and that whole situation in the Delta is amazing. When you walk through it, you think this is a powder keg. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody got a gun. Everybody, I swear to God, man, I'm sitting in my cousin's car, and I'm from the hood. I'm 14 from the hood, and a nigga roll up with a pistol and put it through the window. "What's up, nigga?" I was like, "Oh my God, what the fuck?" And then my cousin reaches under the seat and pull his pistol out. Now they both pistols are sitting in my face. I'm like, "God damn, this is crazy." And then they all start laughing. Now, dude, y'all way too comfortable with pointing. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, he was like, "Man, you should see your cousin's face." I pulled my shit out. I was like, "Yes, nigga, you should."
Hey,
you should have read the room.
I don't know how you didn't start screaming when that nigga reached for his gun when the other gun was already in the window.
Dude, I was like, either way, I'm out. Either way, I can't. I was just sitting there like, I don't know what to do. I have no answers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I do want to drop a piece of good news from the left. J.B. Pritzker, the governor of the state of Illinois, signed into law the end of cash bail. There will be no more
cash bail.
Illinois. The first state in the country to drop cash bail as an entire state. I think
so dope.
Have it in a few cities or whatever, but or a county here or there. But the first state to drop cash bail, which is a big deal, and it's the right time. It's something.
How does that work?
It is something that. What do you mean? How does it work? They stop.
Like what happens when you get arrested?
You get a bond, but it's not. It's not cash. You don't have to pay cash. It's your recognizance.
So, but it's still based on how severe your case is, or whether it's a Class X felony, correct?
Yeah, depending on the level of what you've done. Obviously, if they think you're about to go
if
out.
You're a flight risk or you go
but
murder somebody,
you
still get locked up.
But you look at a story like Calvin Browder, who was accused of stealing a backpack and spent 3 years in jail, largely just because he didn't have the money for bail. It's like, you shouldn't have to sit in county for a month just because they think you.
No doubt, I agree with 100%. You ain't got to tell me. I'm just wondering how they doing it in the state of Illinois, a state that I know pretty well. Yeah. And up until this point, it's never been designed for you to be free. You know what I'm
somebody
saying?
said. Somebody said they did that. R. Kelly coming home. Because wasn't that the reason why he couldn't afford the bail?
Let's do some of the stuff going on the right of the political spectrum, since they are struggling with a few things right now. Trump has got to turn over his taxes. Millions of pages of documents are being turned over to, of course, Cy Vance, the lead attorney for the Southern District of New York, which is the most bulldog district that there is.
On top of that, they hired.
Until they arrest this motherfucker, I will not believe that anything is going to come of it, right? Like, because it's it's just too much. There's too much bullshit, and there are no super. Like one of my favorite sayings is there are no superheroes. There are only supervillains. There is no there, like because otherwise somebody would have stopped this motherfucker already. Like somebody would have swung in on one of them ropes. They would have fucking just slid in and beat up all the bad guys, and they had taken Trump years ago, right? Like that happened. And somebody would be like, my bad. But like that's not what happened. So like until they arrest him or until a sentence is read out somewhere and he's all fucking dragged away with his hair all mopped down, it's a nice start.
I could see where you would think that, but at this point, they got what they wanted. So he's very easy to jettison.
Yeah.
And he's done so many things that they cover for. The only reason that they even talking to him now is because the dumb people still like him. So as soon as they lock him up and he's no longer has any as much influence with the dumb people, you got to hope like hell but he may be a martyr after that. He may be, Napoleon at what was the name of the island? He might be that.
I think the real thing with Trump is that the mess that he's poured himself into, because there was a mess underlying already, right? Like the Tea Party was around before Trump was around. Nixon was around before Trump was around. The people that have kind of helped push Trump up or support him are largely bought from that. Right. So like, but the closest direct line to Trump involves going to like Nixon as one of your most recent touches, right? That's a lot of the same.
Well, I don't know. I think Reagan was pretty good.
Yeah, but Nixon goes further back. Nixon's in all the situation, and Stone was involved with Nixon and all those guys. So it kind of goes back to that. And so, but like, so the thing is, like, even if they get Trump, the ideas that have permeated the minds of a lot of Americans that had not gone that far or thought it was okay, like, the subtle things that people thought in their minds but didn't think they could just be loud about, will now be a thing they will be eternally loud about until you find a way to shut that off. I mean, and he's talking about, Mitch McConnell has already said if he's the guy in 2024, he'll get behind him again.
Here's the thing. People made a big deal about that. Here's why I think that Trump is probably about to see something's going to make him sweat, is that they brought in a dude that they pay extra from outside that does nothing but like high-end racketeering cases. Like this motherfucker is known for taking down mob bosses and stuff. He's like a private attorney now, and they brought him in specifically and solely for the Trump case. They don't do all that shit if they don't think that they actually gonna do something. Like that's a big show for if they don't plan on actually, at least doing something. They think they got something there. So
they know they have something. They already seen this shit. They just now got the official version of the shit. Oh, well, they got more of a picture because old boy's niece had already released a bunch of shit that she had. And so they know what's going on. Now they just getting a better picture of what they have because they're getting different shit that she didn't give.
The one thing I do hope for, regardless of what happens, is that some of these documents end up getting leaked out somewhere. That's my main hope, because I want that shit to show up. I can be like, can you believe this shit? That's the most important part for me, because I have no confidence that he'll ever actually get in any real trouble. But I would definitely like to be able to gloat about how illegal, like how right I was about how illegal he was. That would be that'd be a great thing. In the meantime, CPAC is going on right now. It is the Republicans for Republicans trying to just be as super Republicans as they can conference. Basically.
It's a circle jerk.
Of people. Like at one point they announced that one of the people that they had invited, they had disinvited because they had said some shit that was just not okay.
Young Pharaoh.
And it's like, well, that could be literally anybody. That could be every, like, it was just like, well, obviously, like, this is the best game of whodunit you guys that's ever been created, because it's like, well, no one's gonna figure this out. This is the Where's Waldo of who done said some fucked up shit.
Hey man, yes. Here's the thing. The only difference between him and the rest of them is he black. So they looked around and said, who can we put out? You know what I'm saying? Send him home. We don't like his music anyway. We just had him here just to say that black people like us. You know
Ted Cruz said something interesting. He's already given a speech. He did a yell that was crazier than Howard Dean's at one point. He also at one point said that the weather in Orlando was nice, not as nice as Cancun. Which, like,
I did see that, but I didn't hear the response. Where I see
they laughed. people laugh because they're in Orlando. That's not nobody from Texas. People in Texas are fighting for their fucking lives. You know what I mean? Like nobody from Texas. I don't think there's Republicans from Texas.
We'll see how much they fighting for their lives if that motherfucker get back to the Senate.
He's got 4 years.
Yeah,
I was gonna say he don't run until 2024. He's got the motherfuckers.
But if you're gonna run against him, this is the type of shit.
Hey, I'm gonna say this.
Keep these videos for when we got to run against this motherfucker in 4 years.
People are gonna think this is heartless, but fuck this. You have the right to sell. You always talk about how independent you are. You have a right to your own self-determination. If you vote for the same motherfuckers, Texas, if you still have a Republican governor that believes in deregulation and leaves your fucking grid open like that, if you keep letting these same weasel, dirty, don't give a fuck about you people stay in their office and you stay in red state, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna feel sorry for you. I know some people can't leave, and I'm not saying fuck you to them people, but to the Republican motherfuckers that keep sending these people back and your fucking water pipes are bursting, I don't feel sorry for you because you voted for these pieces of shit and you keep it, and you're probably gonna vote for them again.
Don't tread on me, yeehaw! In some not so awesome news, Tiger Woods, who is just coming off of back surgery, crashed his car earlier this week. Why this nigga drives himself anywhere, I don't know. That's
dude, I swear to God, when I first heard the story, I thought, oh damn, was his driver high or something like that? Like I was like, did his driver get distracted? Like what did his driver do wrong? And then they were like, one person in the car. I was like, what? Did he have a self-driving car? What the fuck was happening? Why was he? I could not believe he was driving.
Now,
every catastrophe in that man's life revolves around a car. You know what I'm saying?
Remember when his wife beat the shit out of his car with a fucking golf club?
And then after that, his career took a downturn. Directly after that, he stopped winning shit. You dig what I'm saying? Like, dude, you're right. It ain't no way in the hell I'd have been driving myself. I'd be calling you niggas, hey, where y'all at, man? I need to go to the store. Somebody come get me.
If you're Tiger Woods, you always have a guy like, I sent you that video of Jordan, right? Jordan talking to Kevin Garnett, and Kevin Garnett said he has a guy with him when he's like, hey man, remember when I dropped 40 points on you in 3 quarters? And he's like, hey, pull up that video. And Jordan has a guy with him that pulls up the video of Jordan dropping 40 on Kevin Garnett in like 1996, 97 or some shit. Right?
Oh my God.
And Tiger doesn't have a guy. Jordan's got a video guy with him 100% of the time. Tiger doesn't have a guy to drive him around. He doesn't have a guy to drive him around. This is crazy.
Get a driver, Tiger, please.
Like, I bet Jordan doesn't put up his own cigars anymore.
We're making jokes. He's not out of the woods. He's gonna live, but apparently he's got some severe damage to his legs. So I sincerely hope that he recovers.
He was also driving a brand new SUV, and I don't mean like new as in like it's a new car for him. I mean like the car he was driving, the Genesis. I think it's a GX80 is what it's called. It's like a brand, like they just started making their new cars, period.
Does it have a self-driving option? Are we going to find out that it was a self-driving?
I think it does. I'm not sure. I mean, it's very possible that could have been the cause of it. There hasn't been anything other than the fact that they said that he didn't seem to be on anything, which I think it was early enough in the day that would make sense. He did have back surgery not long before. So like, the odds that they'll find some type of trace pain medication in him is most likely. This guy's had a lot of surgeries. He's had 6 or 7 or something like that. I think 4 or 5. I don't know how many back surgeries he's had, but he's alive. He had a very bad break, I think, on the right side, his ankle, and they had to put a rod in his ankle there, which is a fucked up situation, but he'll get to see his kids again, which is probably, the most ideal thing. I think it's I watched this happen a bunch this week where they talked about the severity and all the fucking and then of course the next thing is like I guess guy's golf career we should talk about. But it's true, right? Like it's like shit, if I'm him, there's one of two things, right? It's either like, whew, thank goodness I can fucking I can just play for fun now and stop worrying about all this pressure. Or he's Alex Smith with that shit. You know, Alex Smith is a dude who had like the Theismann break, right? Like he broke his shit like Theismann. That dude started like 8 games for the Washington Football Club this year. You know,
and won most of them.
Yeah, I guess. You know, so like, you know, like I just saw the story. I saw the special story on him and how he came back from the break that he had and how his leg looked like it got put into a dish disposal, like a garbage disposal, and they put his shit back together and he turned out to have a regular. I mean, the guy came back and played, which to me seems like the dumbest thing is to go back and like, let me just go around. Like,
let me go back to where those people destroyed my.
What have you been investing in? If this is what you got, don't you know how to type, nigga? Learn how to do anything else.
Need another job, homie. That's all it amounts to. Like if they breaking legs over here, I don't think I'm gonna go back to that vocation.
The Atlanta Dream is a WNBA team. They were owned by Kelly Loeffler, who is the woman who had been given the Senate seat in Georgia when I think when Sessions came up, she was given the Senate seat.
Okay. I don't think it's Sessions. Wasn't Sessions seat?
It wasn't Sessions, Alabama.
That was the seat that.
It was Alabama. Sorry. She had, but she didn't get elected into her seat. She got put in. Somebody in Georgia got elected, got pushed off to somewhere else. She got handed the Senate seat. She owned the Atlanta Dream, the WNBA team. She obviously is not pro-black in any way. She lost her race to Raphael Warnock. Who the Atlanta Dream probably should have just given him the team. They should have been like, well, also you get the team. You're a black man in Georgia. You just won the Senate. You also get to. We're also giving you this basketball team as a token of our.
That's a great movie premise, guys. We got to talk about that in the next meeting. Raphael Warnock,
I got
freshman senator GM for the Atlanta Dream.
So here's the thing,
we get Whoopi Goldberg, the player.
Kelly Loeffler sold the team. The team was purchased by an investment group of 3. One of the people in the investment group is Renee Montgomery, who is a black woman who played for the Atlanta Dream, who just retired after 11 seasons. So she is the first woman to play in a professional sport, black woman to play in a professional sport and then go on to own a team in that sport. Which is a pretty cool thing. So
that is a very
insanely cool basketball team over to a black woman, which is how the things like this should always go.
Yeah, Kelly Loeffler is probably she's probably getting the fuck out of Georgia. Like she lost an election. They didn't want her to own the team. She's from Illinois.
Her husband owns the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah, she don't need this shit.
You want to talk about a head start? Here, you want to give me something?
I'm gonna see. She gonna tweet some shit like fuck. Yeah, she gonna tweet some shit like fuck peaches. I'm out.
And some other stuff we want to talk about before this is over. Daft Punk, who's been together for 28 years, they finally have officially ended their partnership. I know you guys are not huge electronic music.
I know. You want a moment of silence, B?
Listen, man. I was a raver in the mid 90s. I threw parties. I was, you know, bleach blonde hair, Jinko jeans, Tigger backpack. I saw Daft Punk pre-helmets in 1996 at a place called Even Further. It was this like 3-day like outdoor festival out in like the far west, like northwest part of Illinois. And I saw them probably 2 other times in the 90s when they first came out. They came out in like 93 and I saw them in like 96 and like 97 or 98 or some shit. Saw them a couple times then. So like I've been a long time Daft Punk fan. They haven't put out an album in 8 years, so it's not like, you know, it's not it's not like something new has particularly happened. But the way they ended things was pretty interesting. They blew one of them blew up in the YouTube video that they had. You know, it was their performance artist to the end, and I think that's what was cool about it. Their music is shit that you would recognize them when it came on, even if you weren't a big fan. And they've worked with a bunch of cool people, which is pretty slick.
Is the Gorillaz considered the same genre of music?
No, the Gorillaz is a little more. I don't even know what I would call their music. No,
like Gorillaz is more hip hop funk, like a hip hop funk fusion.
Yeah.
Where Daft Punk is a little more I want to electronic, but it's not. I don't want to call it electronic because it's something else.
It's like a progressive techno.
Okay,
probably where I would land Daft Punk in.
Fuck, I hate it. Oh God, I am of an age that progressive techno is described. I was a fan. I have a couple cousins who are pretty. You know Adonis. You know DJ Adonis.
Yeah. Adonis I knew Adonis before I knew you.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's wild. Yeah. So and I used to spend way back in the day. Not nearly as well. He's way better than me. And so
that's a legit
Daft
DJ
Punk.
right there, man. Don Childs is a legit Chicago DJ, man.
Yeah, and shout out Donnie.
Donnie love shout outs.
Yeah, so I remember them, man. I remember them from back in the day because they had some tracks that you could mix, that you could blend really well with house music. Like if you was doing like
around the
house.
world, baby.
Yeah. Oh God, that shit got played forever. And you just let that shit ride and then blend other shit on top of it and bring it in and out. I had a mix. It wasn't my mix. I can't remember who it was, but somebody had mixed where it was around the world the entire time for like 90 minutes, but it was like other tracks coming in and out, and it just kept going back to that around. The shit was so fucking sick.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Daft Punk's dope.
They made good music that you could work into a lot of different genres, which is what kind of made.
They did a collab with Blue Man, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah.
Somebody who's also probably about to come out with some real dope ass music pretty soon is going to be Kanye West. He and Kim have broken up. They're going to get a divorce, and so I could only imagine what this is going to mean for Kanye. The juice is loose, y'all. The juice is loose. It's about to get wild. You thought 808 and Heartbreaks with some shit, boy. He got kids now. What you think he'll be talking about? This music's gonna be the most wildest avant-garde shit you know.
Hold up though. It's gonna be wild as shit. You are 100% right. I cannot wait for the music, but you are forgetting some of the most thirsted after pussy in the world is back on the market. Kim is about to have a field day. She's about to have
them people.
Anybody that she wants.
Them people saw a man who had mental behavior issues, and they took advantage of that dude for ratings and publicity as long as they could. And now he's going to get all the shit when it's over, and she's going to play her marketing like she's some triumphant free woman back on the spot again. And he's going to look like the bad guy, but this is her third divorce, right?
What if she
is that what's going down?
What if they ended the show?
This is his first divorce. She's got 3, but he's going to look like the bad guy in the end, probably. Right?
Yeah. So there's 2 sides that this guy.
The guy with the mental behavior issue.
They ended the show. She don't need him anymore because the show's over. She don't need him anymore. She's cutting him loose. That's the negative. Or it could have been she ended the show because she was like trying to save their shit and it wasn't enough. It was too little too late.
Unfortunately,
because she had stood by that mother. She stood by this motherfucker.
Unfortunately,
for a lot
I can't
of shit.
buy anything that family does as genuine at all ever.
Okay, I will say this: Kanye has a song. Kanye has a song called "Wouldn't Leave" or something like that. I can't remember, but the song is like he's basically singing like I've told you like so many times, like you should leave, and she wouldn't leave him. So for her to finally leave him,
how long were they married?
I'm not sure.
10 years, I think, maybe 9 years.
A good amount of time.
9 or 10 years. Is it 8? Is it only 8?
Let's find out.
Anybody looking it up?
I'm trying to find out. 7 years, almost 7 years.
Oh shit, that's it.
Yeah, this is all bullshit. The show was over. They didn't need him.
I did a 7-year bid.
Yeah, they didn't need him no more. They kicked him out. Once they don't need you no more, they get rid of you. Once dudes stop playing basketball, they found him with a hole, fucked all up.
You mean the lady whose mother marketed her sex tape for her? You think they're out to just use people for financial gain? Is that possible?
She's still the number one most searched porn person in the world.
She could probably stop doing them shows and still make residuals off that shit today.
That's insane.
Speaking of special content, Twitter is opening up a God tier version, basically. They are opening up a super follows section where your creators could gain paying subscribers with super follows with a fee starting at $4.99 a month. So basically, Twitter users can charge followers and give them access to extra content, which could become bonus tweets, access to community groups, or subscriptions to a newsletter for another $5 a month.
That's what they've been sending to me. They've been sending me some almost every day about this new way I could view Twitter and how I can get super follow. I know what the fuck it was. I just kept getting it out the way so I can see the shit I was looking.
Yeah,
you should read an email every once in a while.
Yeah, we'll talk about that off air. We got to get you on.
When a social media site is like, "Hey, we want to give you an awesome opportunity. We want to make you a winner," you should sometimes be like part of believing that you're good.
I just didn't understand what it was and really didn't look at it very hard.
I just realized
being careless is normal.
My shadow Twitter account, my low key private Twitter account is about to just get deleted because everything that I search on Twitter on that account is about to go to PayStyle. So I might as well just get rid of that account.
That's hilarious. The last thing I want to talk about, because I just think it's hilarious. One, Spider-Man 3 now has a title. It's going to be called Spider-Man No Way Home. That is the title of the third Spider-Man movie.
Wait, what was the last one called?
Far From Home.
Okay, I kept hearing that. I knew it sounded similar.
They've all got home in the
No
title.
Way Home.
Yeah,
okay.
The first one was Homecoming.
Yeah.
So all the first three Spider-Man titles all have home in them, which is going to be great. Marvel has laid out some of the dates of their shows, and essentially it's like you just got to wait like a couple weeks for the rest of the year between things, and another one will be coming. Like 2 weeks after WandaVision ends, I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier starts, and then like 2 or 3 weeks after that ends, Loki comes out. Somewhere there, the Black Widow movie comes out. By the end of the year, they have Ms. Marvel will be out by the end of the year. There'll be like 3 or 4 things out plus movies. Eternals comes out later this year. So there's a bunch of opportunities for that. The last thing I want to talk about, because it's just hilarious. There is no more Mr. Potato Head. It is the company Hasbro, which is the company that makes the potato heads, the Mr. Potato Head or whatever, has dropped that. They've come out and said that potatoes are gender neutral, which, by the way, they are. Potatoes are gender neutral.
My God, if this ain't the same potato head I played with as a child.
And that is the funniest part. That's the funniest part I feel like, listen.
Does he come with a dick?
They have earned.
Is there a potato dick?
They have earned the insanity.
I don't think there's a potato dick.
I saw people lose it earlier this week because the Muppet Show is on Disney Plus now, right? And they have content warnings on some of the episodes because for whatever reason there's some adult jokes on there that I'm guessing are because that's what the Muppet Show was. They had some shit that on there was like, oh, that's for grown people, right? And so I watched people flip out over this potato head thing. And Marjorie Green, who wants to put up there are only 2 genders outside her door across from somebody whose kid's transgender. And it's like, can't y'all find some better shit? Like, why don't y'all focus on trying to just win? Because
Isn't it weird how the motherfuckers who always scream about freedom want to stop somebody else from being free?
We're never going to buy Hasbro again. Like, weren't you just crying about cancel culture like a week ago, nigga?
Yeah. These motherfuckers, I think we learned that cancel shit from these motherfuckers. Like, you know what we gotta do? We gotta start shutting motherfuckers down.
Remember, try being a gay black man who wanted to be a leading actor in 1965. How, like, the original cancel culture was not being like the nuclear family type of person back in the day. How many gay women?
You don't have to go to 1965 for that.
But you know what I mean? Like, how many gay
2005.
Sure, but I mean, like, how many gay women didn't get a shot because they didn't want to like fuck with a guy or be in a role where they were like, cancel for that, right? Like that shit is.
God bless Miss Hathaway.
Yeah. You know, that shit's old news. It's just it's so silly. It's such a silly thing to be. It shows the level of silliness and what they're mad about. Because like
it's not just them though. It's so weird. It's so many of us that's fallen into this stupidity based on the religion that we took. You know what I mean? Like that a lot of people base it on that and tell you what's not natural, what's not this, what's not that. And I always think it ain't really got shit to do with me what you put in or on you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You. It don't really affect me. So I don't see it as any reason. It doesn't affect anything.
Yeah.
I really I can't stand the mindset of the people who say stuff like if they're trying to make it, if they're trying to change it to make everybody, they're trying to make everybody like they're trying to convert people. You can't convert people, baby. They can put it in all the programs. They can have guys kissing on TV and all this shit. Nothing's gonna make a dick look appealing to me. It's just not.
I grew up in Boys Town. Let me tell you something.
Hey man, I honestly don't understand it. I don't. And the thing is like it's smart people that I truly care for. And I got to try to figure out, like I told you a couple weeks ago, I was on somebody's show where they were talking this shit. And I'm thinking, so you telling me that people choose to be gay? Then if you choose to do it, then that's a level of commitment that should be honored. You know what I'm saying?
It also means means that you're choosing to be straight.
Absolutely. I'm saying that.
So you stopping yourself from sucking dick?
Right.
The only thing keeping you from sucking dick is choice.
If you don't willfully stop yourself, you just go.
I'm with all. I'm exactly. But let's just look at the other side of the coin. Let's just say the shit that you saying, the ridiculous. Because at some point or another, bro, I just ask a few questions to see where their head are. Because see where their heads are. Because I don't really need like arguing with stupid people. Like like when you say something so stupid, I know that is a conversation that you and I can't have. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't feel like giving the energy to tell you how stupid you sound. So what I do is I start asking them questions just to see where their head is. Like I'll ask you some shit like, so you telling me gay is a choice? Yes. Okay, so if that is a choice and a person chooses to do it and it doesn't affect you in any way, doesn't that show their level of commitment to wanting to do that? And if you want to do it and you free, then why do you give a fuck? Like, why is it that, well, I don't want to see it. Well, then don't watch the channel. Change the channel. But you can't stop nobody from being what they want to be, and based on some shit you think. Don't nobody fuck you.
My mom's straight, and she's like, I don't want to see straight people kissing on TV either, to be honest with you. She's like,
I know that, and that's logical.
and on that note, it's been a great show. We've had a good time. It took us a minute to get rolling because none of our computers are up to snuff for the original way we tried to do this, but we're glad we got it together. XL, where can people find you, XL?
You can find me at XL Comedy. That's at XLCOMEDY. XL Comedy on all the platforms. Yada yada yada.
Robert Hines, where can people find you, brother?
Walking around Koreatown.
You have a special coming out, don't you?
I do have a special. That's the background here.
What's it called?
It's called Lockdown. It's about me working in the jail and some of the very themes that we touch on, my emotional feelings about being there. It's really funny. Got some animation in it. It should be around the 19th.
Nice. You can find me at Mocha_Jesus. You can find the show at New OGs Pod. Make sure you get over to People of Comedy at People of Comedy or at People of Comedy Network. Check out all their great shows they got there. Yes, XL.
I know we go to that. I just realized I looked at the screen. I have a screen of what we look like online, and I had been leaning all over the place. I'm pretty sure there's part of this episode where I'm not on screen at all, and you people just hear the voice. I just wanted to say that I acknowledge that.
We just assume you're on mushrooms now, so that's
okay. I just want to know that. I just want y'all to know that I didn't know until just now.
Catch us next week.
Bye-bye.
I'm on TikTok live right now.
TikTok live right now. Go check him out. Richard Jones, BBQ.
That's what's up. Gang, but nigga, you a stranger. Bitches wanna fuck with nigga, you can't blame us. Whole